Come
on, we're scrapping after this. We have to get in the right mindset.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night to the people, depending on what time you're listening to this or where you're listening to it from. You are brought to the Sidelines podcast, brought to you by Sports Management Laurier. This is maybe the worst intro known to man, but that's okay because we're still going to roll with it. My name is Zach Jazzy, and I am joined today with...
I'm Haley McGoldrick, as always.
And I am Spencer Malone.
Spencer Malone. And today we are going to talk about sports, as always. We are going to jump into a couple of interesting topics about a couple of interesting sports, and we thank you for joining us on this ride. So, to begin, we're going to start, as always, as Haley's favorite, with basketball, but we'll start on a good topic.
Yeah, because my Celtics finally won.
Yeah.
They beat the Warriors by 33 points.
So
Christmas came early this year.
They did.
The Warriors aren't playing their best, and everyone knows that, but still, having your slump ended by a win over the Warriors is that's good for the confidence.
The other thing is, it's not just a win. Pumped them.
It's a statement win.
30 points.
Yeah.
That's a lot of points.
I just wish the game would have been an Oracle because it would have been that much better, but I'll take it.
Yeah, no, you can't.
Wasn't it an Oracle?
No, it was at TD Garden.
Yeah, it was at TD.
Okay.
That's awesome, though. Good for them. They're still shit, but, nothing you can do about that. What was it? They lost 5 of 6 going into that?
No, guys, that was an Oracle.
Oh, it was?
That was an Oracle, yeah. That was a home game.
Oh, so then that's even better.
There you go.
I don't know why I thought it was a TD.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't have cable. I just have to look at updates on my phone and computer.
Have you ever heard of Reddit? www.reddit.com/NBA streams.
One time, I usually watch reddit.com/CFB streams, but the one time it was in Spanish. And then it just tainted me forever.
That's better than no football.
Yeah, but
Spanish reactions are amazing. Have you ever watched a Spanish call of an NHL game?
Oh my God,
they get so high. Or the Punjabi NHL.
Oh my God,
yeah.
Punjabi hockey night in Canada
guys are
is
awesome.
the best.
Those guys are way better than half of the English.
Punjabi Don Cherry is way better than regular Don Cherry.
Absolutely,
hands down. I love that.
I'd much rather.
I remember watching that as a kid, and I had no idea it was a thing. And then I turned on hockey night in Canada. Yeah, I hit it, and I was so taken aback because there were 2 Punjabi guys on my screen. I was like, "Where's Ron and Don?"
No, and they're very intense.
I was also like, "Oh, my people." But back to basketball.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes it even better. But yeah, the Celtics were on a 6-game losing streak going into that.
Was it 6 games?
7?
No, they had lost 5 of 6.
Yeah, that's what
they beat the Wizards in the middle of that, which is hilarious though, because the win against the Wizards was arguably they needed a second half comeback after another terrible start, which they've kind of in their slump been a bit famous for. Mm-hmm. So the fact you need a huge surge in the second half to beat the Wizards wasn't something to be proud of, but the win against the Warriors definitely was.
Yeah,
it's insane. Yeah. I read somewhere also that was the worst home loss for Warriors
since 2009 to the Celtics, actually, coincidentally again.
Well then.
Yeah. This season the Warriors have been pumped at home by 3 big Eastern Conference contenders: the Celtics by 33, the Bucks by 23, and the Raptors by 20. They've been pumped at home 3.
That was when the Raptors didn't have Kawhi either.
They didn't have Kawhi. That's arguably the worst. The score 20 is not as bad as the 33. The fact they don't have their best player looks arguably as bad
in your home
Celtics.
In Oracle.
In your home building, when you have. They made a huge point about they got Steph Curry back from the first game against the Raptors, and they didn't have him. They're they should have came out and made a statement.
And that one was a really close game because it was 1 point in overtime.
Kevin Durant put the team on his back and just dragged them.
So that game being we don't have Steph Curry, but then
they should have. It should have been a statement game for the Warriors if they were the Warriors of the previous few years. But in reality, they got embarrassed out of their own building at home, which has happened a few times this season. That's happened.
Yeah, hopefully not hopefully as a Raptors fan, but we'll see if the Celtics can keep up this momentum though.
I'm hoping they can.
That'd be cool.
I think they're all tired of losing. They're 5th in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, and they're good players.
They honestly, on paper, I think they're one of the best, if not the best teams in the East.
I'd argue that, especially on paper.
On paper, they are the best team in the East.
On the floor, no.
Well, they're going up against 9th seed Sacramento in their next game. So.
The thing that you should be looking for is the Celtics since the All-Star break and just in their recent struggles have been pretty careless with the ball. I'm sure Haley
Yeah.
watching the games noticed the bad turnovers. So if they want to give a bunch of turnovers to a team like Sacramento, who has one of the fastest paces in the league, then it's gonna be one of those Celtics losses recently that we're not gonna like talking about.
No, I think they're trying to turn it around. Like Jaylen Brown was talking about how their locker room is toxic.
Yeah, it's not very good.
So I think they're all trying to like work together to win as best as they can. They have terrible chemistry.
Oh, absolutely.
A really good roster, but we'll see.
They look good. They look good against the Warriors.
They look really good. And the
I
Warriors are still first in the West, so like it's not like the Warriors are trash this year. Like they're still still the Warriors.
They've just been on a bit of a skid, you know.
Yeah.
The other thing with that is, Gordon Hayward went off.
Yeah.
And just something I noticed when watching was that it looked like they were having a good time out there.
Yeah.
And like that, I feel like that's what that locker room needs, right? Because if we compare it to the Lakers look like they're just having a shit time.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
But everyone knows that.
Yeah, everyone knows that. But then everyone
common.
also knew that the Celtics were having a shit time.
It's
No,
very
but that's what I'm
clear,
saying. When you find that like cohesion and that happiness, like then you're gonna have a good time. Like I've been on sports teams when you lose every game, it's not fun. Nobody's like, still love you guys. It's like, fuck you guys. You're the worst teammates in the entire world. I could do this all on my own. Like that's the mentality you get when you're losing. When you're a competitive person, I totally understand that.
Except for our flag football team, I still loved you guys even though we lost every game.
I did not love you guys because I literally felt like 3 plays I called that whole season were like the only times the ball actually made it into somebody's hands and we did something, and I was like, wow, nobody listens to me. That flag football team was terrible.
Oh, we were bad.
I wasn't even on that flag football team.
That was bad.
Logan tore his MCL.
Oh, yeah, that was bad.
I remember the meeting after that.
That was so funny too because it was like of all things that you could have been doing, you're playing on the worst flag football team known to man.
We were the only team to go 0-7.
Logie, if you're listening to this, we love you.
Yeah.
What are the chances that our team actually listens to this? We got 8 whole views.
Yeah, our team doesn't listen to this. I think Evan does.
I'm sure Evan does.
See, I haven't. It's just because I talk about the podcast. I don't actually like listen to it because I remember. So like it's like not an artificial view from me. So
no, me either. Evan does. Evan's the best. Like
shout out to Evan.
Like when I write my blogs, which I've been slacking on this year, literally wrote one, but
I'm gonna write one soon.
Okay. When like my blogs, Evan comments on every single one of them. Like Evan's the best. We love you, Evan Lotes.
Thank you, Evan.
All right, back to sports.
Yeah. I was just looking at the standings. The first team officially eliminated from the playoffs is the Phoenix Suns.
New York Knicks as well.
Oh, are they?
They're out in the East for sure.
Yeah.
It doesn't say it on the standing that they're officially eliminated.
It does.
They have 64 games played. They have 8.
I'm looking at. See,
actually,
it doesn't.
You know the Knicks are not mathematically.
You see how they're not?
They're not mathematically. No.
If theoretically,
I am looking at the NBA.com standings right now, and there's an O beside New York Knicks. So I don't know
what does O mean?
Oh.
That means but you consider this though. If they were to win. That would never happen in a million years, but if they were to win 18 games... Oh, wait, no. They say they're out as well.
That's what I've been saying. Why is this an argument? Because
the score lied to me.
The score is lying. Cleveland is somehow still in the race, as with the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, I don't know.
The Hawks are... I mean, you could argue, like...
Any team with less than 20 wins, like, you're not making the playoffs.
Any team... I'd say even, like, the Wizards at 26
less than
wins
30
are probably...
wins are not making the playoffs.
Well, this is the East we're talking about, where we've got 4 teams around 30 wins battling for the playoffs right now.
Yeah.
I mean overall.
I'd say from 11 down in the East, that's pretty much done. From the Wizards to the Knicks, those teams, I don't see any of them making the playoffs. And out West, unless the Timberwolves or Lakers mount a late season charge, I don't see it switching up much.
Yeah.
I don't see that
too much changing, but it's gonna be really weird.
You don't know in the East. The West, I'd say, is probably pretty set.
A LeBron-less playoffs is going to be very weird.
It'll be good for the other stars of the league to get their chance to shine for sure.
Do you know what's kind of funny, though? Like, LeBron's not making the playoffs, but, like, neither are the Cavs. Like, the Cavs have literally made the playoffs for...
Well, the Cavs are horrible. Well,
I know. I didn't say they're not. I'm just saying, like, we knew the Cavs
were... You got so defensive.
Because everyone twists my words.
No.
And I'm not, like, I haven't finished my sentence and people just interject with their thoughts, but my sentence isn't over. I'm not just saying, the Cavs are making the playoffs. That wasn't my thought. My thought was that the Cavs aren't making the playoffs, but neither is LeBron, so they're probably like, haha, fuck you. Like, you left us and we're shit, sure. Yes. But, like, you're not in the playoffs either, so...
You're also shit.
See, I'm not ready to... until they're mathematically eliminated, I can't put put LeBron out because I thought LeBron was going to get knocked out by the Pacers in the first round last year. Like, how bad were the Cavs? Honestly, how bad were the Cavaliers last playoffs?
I don't know how
that
they
is
made
the worst
How did
team,
they make it to the finals?
The worst team I've ever seen make the NBA
How did they
finals.
sweep the Raptors?
How did they make it to the finals?
That's the worst part. They swept the Raptors.
And
The
then they got
Raptors
swept.
yeah, exactly. The Raptors had a double-digit half in the game one. They had a double-digit halftime lead, and I'd say if they win that game, that series goes different. Like maybe the Cavs still win, but I don't think
they got blown out 2 and 3, and then
2 and 4. No, 2 and 4 they got blown out. 1 and 3 were the competitive ones.
I thought 4 was a competitive.
No, 3 was the one where it was the buzzer beater, like going off to the side.
Right.
The worst, literally the worst play call of all time. Let's just let LeBron run in from the half court instead of doubling him and forcing somebody else to score. Maybe whatever.
That's okay.
Sorry, Dwayne. You got what you deserved this offseason.
Yeah, literally.
Those salty comments by Dwayne Casey. Did you guys see those?
I did see those.
Those were. I mean, like, I get why you're upset, but I mean, like, you were pretty like uninspiring with a lot of your late game and playoff sort of game plans, and that did obviously the limit of talent of a DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry led core does come into factor, but there were some times where you'd think like if my only play wasn't give DeMar or Kyle that ball and let them ISO at the end of a game, maybe some of those games would have ended up differently.
The other thing is, man, you're coaching the Pistons, like
the Pistons,
how's Detroit treating you?
Yeah, we're laughing like the Pistons have beat the Raptors twice. Everyone's like, oh, like there might be a threat. Like, really, you think when everyone's healthy and like locked into the playoffs, they're gonna lose?
Well, even if the playoffs started today, they're not losing.
No, the Pistons are playing the Pacers, and honestly, I like the Victor Oladipo-less Pacers. They remind me a lot of the Celtics of last year, where it's a team that lost their star player and everyone was ready to write them off, and then they just have a solid core, some young talent around them. Miles.
They lost
Turner.
their other star player in the playoffs.
Exactly. They got Miles Turner. They've got Domantas Sabonis, who is a 6th Man of the Year candidate.
And there's a nice young man, Bogdanovic.
He's a nasty shooter. Corey Joseph, good Pickering boy.
I was just actually about to say that. I think I've watched Corey Joseph play. I watched a couple Pacers games. I really like the way he plays.
He's smart.
I'm upset that I'm not going to say I'm upset that the Raptors lost him.
Yeah.
But like I liked him on the Raptors, and I've kind of followed him with the Pacers, and he's good, man. He knows how to play the game.
Well, I like him.
And I think he'll be a big asset to them in the playoffs, especially with Oladipo.
Yeah, I see. Yeah. I think the Pacers will go to the second round, and then I think the Raptors will not have too much issues knocking them out. Because the way the games went in the regular season, like the Raptors lost the game, they didn't have Kawhi, and that was unfortunate to say.
No, they won the game when they didn't have Kawhi.
They won and lost one without Kawhi.
Oh, they lost the other one?
Yeah, because the first one was like the Van Vliet's clutch 3 to win. That was the first one they didn't have Kawhi in.
I was at a game, Raptors Pacers. I don't know if it was the first or second one.
I think it would have been did Van Vliet hit a 3 for to win?
No, we pumped him.
Oh, that was sorry. The one where the Van Vliet hit the 3. I think there was no Kyle Lowry. That's who I was thinking.
Yeah, maybe because I remember it was a back-to-back. We faced the Bucks the day before.
Yeah, and then we pumped.
We
beat the Bucks.
Beat the Bucks, then beat the Pacers.
Okay, I do remember.
I was so hyped about that, but I was mad because I wasn't going to get to see Kawhi play.
Yeah. Sorry, moving away from the Raptors for a second. I think an interesting talking point, just connecting with the Warriors' struggles of late. I think an interesting stat to talk about. But first, I want to preface this with beginning of the year when. I'd just like to hear your thoughts on this as well. When you saw the Warriors starting lineup with Boogie Cousins in it, what were your immediate thoughts and reactions?
They're literally gonna go. How many games are there?
82.
82-0.
In my opinion, man, that's that shouldn't happen, and it's kind of backfired in the sense that they're not doing as amazing as one would expect. But the other thing was Cousins was hurt. Cousins was hurt, so that was the first thing. But that shouldn't happen. You shouldn't have a starting lineup of 5
all NBA
all-star,
talents, all NBA
high
talents.
caliber. That's silly. You can argue Boogie Cousins and Draymond Green may not be
all stars this year.
All stars, but they're still better than your average center in power.
Absolutely.
They're very, very good basketball players, and then to surround them with 3 full all-stars, like hands down.
All like
two of the top 4 players in the league.
and then
Klay Thompson, who I agree is top 10.
top, I'd say, and then he's like, well, even if he's not, he's top 5 shooter of all time.
Oh, yeah, easily. And then to put Draymond Green and Boogie Cousins in the mix, you built a monster. You built a Frankenstein. And that shouldn't be allowed.
Yeah, so
like, if I'm being honest, that shouldn't be allowed. That shouldn't happen.
So one thing that's interesting is, just relating to that shouldn't happen, was apparently the Warriors were the only team that offered DeMarcus Cousins a contract, which, as much as everyone likes to complain, like, you kind of did it to yourself if they were the only team who was, like, smart enough to think, why don't we just sign him to a minimum, and then if he comes back and he's what he used to be, then great, we have DeMarcus Cousins on our team. If not, then, oh well, $2 million for a year. But anyways, so what's interesting is you mentioned Boogie Cousins was injured for the first bit of the year. Since January 18th, the lineup of the death lineup of Steph, Klay Thompson, Durant, Green, and Boogie Cousins has a negative net rating in their 152 minutes played together. It's a negative 0.9 net rating since that date. So they're actually a lot worse when DeMarcus is on the floor. Defensively is where he has the biggest impact. I think they're 12 points I saw worse defensively when he's off the floor. And, you can live with that if he's bringing to the offense, but he's shooting 27% from 3, which is just not good enough by any, like, a center in the NBA today needs to have at least a league average shot. Like, you can't, and he hoists a lot of triples for a center. You can't be shooting 27%, right?
I get that. He plays. The other thing is, like, I don't understand why he's taking those shots, man. You got Klay and Steph and Durant.
Yeah, but, I don't think it's the offense that's the problem with him. I think it's the defense, because it used to just be, okay, attack Steph Curry because Steph Curry's the only bad defender on Golden State. Now it's, okay, why don't we run Steph Curry, DeMarcus Cousins pick and rolls nonstop, because they're both arguably, like, I wouldn't say horrible defender for Steph, but they're both below average defenders. Like, they're, like, we saw the Raptors when they blew out Golden State at in Oracle. Like, you know what they did all game? Danny Green post up Steph Curry because he couldn't stop Danny Green posting up on him, right? He's not a good defender. And then DeMarcus Cousins isn't very fast or athletic by any means, and he's never been a good defender in his career. So I think that has a lot to do.
They play the run and gun game, though.
Yeah, so
they win with points, and I mean, obviously the last little bit they haven't been great. But just looking at their last 5 games, they got 121 points against Charlotte, 125 against Miami, 103 against the Magic, then 120 against the Sixers, then got shit pumped by the Celtics.
Yeah, and how many of those games were wins though?
3.
Or
two. Sorry.
And then against some less than ideal competition in there.
Yeah.
Like the Heat.
Well, they beat the Hornets. They lost by 1 to Miami, and that was Dwayne Wade's.
Yeah, but should it have been that close to a Heat team that's 4 games under 500?
Yeah, but that was. I'm still pleased because that was amazing.
I love the outcome. Love the outcome.
Yeah, I was
but the
very
Warriors.
pleased. I'm not disappointed by that. But yeah, they shouldn't.
They shouldn't be in a 1-point game.
They lost to Orlando, which is like, come on. They beat the Sixers. Like, that's the other thing I don't understand. Is the only team with his top starting 5 that I think competes with them is the Philadelphia 76ers, because I said this on the last podcast. I think the 76ers starting 5 right now is 5 legitimate all-stars.
I agree with that.
Because JJ Redick, completely underrated. Love JJ Redick. Mm-hmm. And Tobias Harris.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you have Jimmy Buckets, Ben Simmons, and Joel Embiid. So, like, that's a top 5 that can compete with the Warriors, and that's the only game they won. Like,
It's funny because, like, the 76ers, I saw this is going to be a point that is illustrated by a meme that I saw, and it's the Philadelphia 76ers. It uses SpongeBob pictures for the record. It's like the Philadelphia 76ers versus the top teams in the East, and it was like SpongeBob hiding. Then it's like the Philadelphia 76ers versus like mediocre to bad teams, and it was like SpongeBob flexing or something like that. And then it was like the 76ers versus the top teams in the West, and it was like this very muscular SpongeBob, because earlier in the season they beat the Rockets. They came close. I think they were both close losses to the Warriors this season. Like, they beat the OKC for the first time since 2009 this year.
I saw that. That was good.
So, like, it's very weird. The 76ers are a weird team in that they seem to struggle with who they're going to be playing in the playoffs. They're actually going to be matching up with. But they seem to have no issues with Obviously,
as of right now, they'd be facing who? They'd be facing the Celtics.
the Celtics, which they've had problems with the Celtics recently, but that's also that's also the 76ers team that didn't have Tobias Harris on it, who I think is a pretty big X factor.
Yeah, they upgraded from Markelle Fultz to Tobias Harris.
Yeah, I mean,
far and away amazing.
They had Mike Muscala starting power forward, who is now bricking shots for the Lakers. So I think we know how how that went for the 76ers. Mm-hmm. Do we want to move on to NHL?
We can. Hales, how much time are we in?
I don't know.
All right.
Okay.
Why not? Let's swing it at the
some
NHL.
hockey. We can. I think an interesting place to start would be with Brad Marchand tweeting tweeting at the Maple Leafs, tweeting at Kyle Dubas, trying to get in their head a little bit, talking about how Mitch Marner deserves $12 million a year, and this is one of the rare times that I agree with Brad Marchand, because holy shit is Mitch Marner good at hockey.
Mitch Marner is an excellent hockey player.
So he has reached 80 points. He has 81 right now in 66 games, which is the fewest games since Dougie Gilmour.
That's pretty big.
That is insane. And that kid is going to get paid left, right, and center because he is so good.
Yeah, he's tied. He's tied for 9th scoring, I think, right now in the league.
Yeah, he's just been incredible. The Leafs have been pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Recently, other than that game against the Islanders.
Yeah. Aside from that, they've been. I think since adding Jake Muzzin and sort of relegating Ron Hainsey to more of like a 6D man, they've been a lot more reliable defensively, and obviously Anderson getting healthy has helped them out, so they're not just throwing out Garrett Sparks and whoever else.
They re-signed Garrett Sparks, eh?
See, I don't have any problem with him playing like 15 games a year, because he will give you some big performances, but he's also going to give you some stinkers like he did against.
But the other thing is that's why he's your backup.
Exactly, that's why he's not a starting goalie.
You're not going to get a starter as your backup.
No, exactly.
I have no problems with Garrett Sparks.
No, and seems like a good guy too. He seems like a very fun guy to have in the locker room. He seems like he probably gets along with most of them. He's a big goalie too. I think he's 6'3", 6'4".
Mm-hmm. And he was amazing in the A. He won.
Yeah, he's been.
He won MVP when Marlies won the Calder.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Right. So I mean, good for him. I'm happy for him, even though he gives up some stinkers. I do not think he should have been playing in that game against the Islanders. So
I don't think so either. But like
that needed to be a statement game.
The problem with the Islanders are realistically not going to be an opponent of the Leafs unless the Islanders somehow go to the conference finals, and the Leafs do as well. They're not going to face them in the playoffs, so I don't think you're really worried about this sort of rivalry.
Well, it could be. It's a possibility.
Yeah, but then at the same time, like you want Anderson to be fresh for the playoffs. The huge problems that are the past two playoff runs is Anderson played 70 games before the playoffs even started, and then all of a sudden he's out of gas, and then the Leafs can't outscore the amount of goals that he's letting in. Right, so like I think a healthy Frederik Andersen would be absolutely vital for the Leafs going forward, right? He's .924 save percentage right now. That's tied for 5th in the league right now, I think, or tied for 6th, something like that. So he's been playing excellent this year. So I think they just need to make sure they keep his games to a reasonable amount where he's not going to be absolutely killing himself. And he's also first in wins among goalies. He's tied for first with Marc-Andre Fleury.
Really? How many does Vasilevsky have?
Vasilevsky has 31. Wow. See, I think the Lightning's backup has given them a lot of wins. Mm-hmm. I cannot remember their backup for the life of me.
Oh, I know it. Give me 1 sec. I know it. But yeah, moving on to the Lightning, actually. Where is it? Domingue? I don't know.
Oh, Domingue, yeah.
I don't even know who that is.
Yeah,
I mean, good for him, though. He's Canadian. Okay. But moving on to the Lightning, we can talk about Nikita Kucherov.
106 points this year.
Because, holy shit, Nikita Kucherov is very good.
He is.
Very good at hockey. He has 106 points in... Sorry, I want to pull up this one article because I read it yesterday and it explained it perfectly. But, oh my god, where is it? Okay, screw it. I don't care. That's insane.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think I would argue like that is probably like on pace for one of the best seasons by a Russian player.
Yes, and recent memory, especially like how many like seasons recently have there been like how many guys have gotten to 100 points, right? Like it's like seems
That's
like
pretty rare.
it is. It's not in today's NHL. It's not a easy feat. It seems like this year scoring is up as a whole league wide. Like it seems like there are a lot of guys who have a ton of points. Who I'm just like, what? Like, how do these people have that many points, right? Haley, what are your thoughts?
I haven't been paying attention.
Good
to be
old
quite honest.
NHL.
I really
Yeah.
have not been paying attention.
Why is this? We have a special guest with us right now.
Big Sens guy.
Big Sens guy.
Unfortunately.
Even though, you wanna jump in, talk about the Sens a little bit?
Do I want to talk about the Sens? Yeah, I can talk about the Sens.
Introduce yourself to the people first with your official title.
Yeah, this is Hayden Carver here. I'm the incoming co-president of the Lazarus Student Society from Ottawa, so unfortunately I'm a Sens fan. I think everyone knows the organization is kind of in a downhill spiral for the past 2 years. So, yeah, it's tough to see your childhood team that you looked up to. I grew up, I used to play defense, and Eric Carlson was kind of my idol, and the Sens just trade him away for nothing, right? So
Exactly.
Ouch.
But they got a star in return. Well, not in return in that trade, but they got a star in Matt Duchene. They re-upped their star.
Yeah,
Lost
and then
Carlson,
they
and
lost-
got
they lost.
Duchene.
yeah,
And gave up what again for him?
They gave away the potential first overall pick for this year's draft.
Very likely the first.
Pretty bad asset management by the Sens. That's kind of tough to see.
It's okay, but it's all right. They fired their coach, so that's gonna make
Guy
everything better.
Boucher's, yeah, he's
Guy
gone.
Boucher's
Steve
gone.
Boucher is now gone.
But he's not the issue.
No, he wasn't. He was actually probably one of their good things.
Yeah, I like.
Yeah,
him.
I think he was a good coach considering what he had, but it's tough to see. I think we need to get an overhaul in the ownership group and hopefully turn things around a little bit in the organization. I think we have some good pieces in the pipeline now, and I know the Sens are good at drafting and developing talent, so hopefully we're going to be getting some high draft picks for the next 3-4 years, and hopefully those can turn out.
Just not this year.
There's not.
Just not this year, yeah.
That's,
Hopefully Columbus-
I think that's the most like salt in the
Heartbreaking
wound thing is like,
yeah.
okay, there's shit, but like it's okay. They're gonna draft someone good, and it's like, oh no,
Nope.
Colorado's gonna
Avalanche
draft
are.
someone good.
No, we don't even get the Oilers treatment where we'll get a good
You won't get like luck into McDavid. Like no.
no.
Nada.
Jack
So,
Hughes is not coming to the Sens.
Enjoy Denver, Jack Hughes, and all the. Well, actually, in Ottawa you can smoke weed now too. I was about to say. All the. What are you looking at?
I'm waiting for
Oh,
you to finish
sorry.
your sentence.
Yeah, no.
We're a bit of a mess, but we have 8 viewers, so it's like it's
Yeah.
not that big
Yeah.
of a deal.
That's okay. Yeah. Any other thoughts about the Senators or the state of the NHL, Mr. Carver?
State of the NHL. No, I think it'll be interesting to see like the first round of playoffs. That's what I'm really looking forward to. I think the West is going to be interesting to see who makes it in, because obviously there's not much separating the bottom from the top, which is kind of interesting. Obviously, we got 2 heavyweights with Nashville and Winnipeg there, and obviously Calgary and San Jose are doing well as well. But the wild card's a little bit up in the air, because what do we? I mean, yeah, the couple teams are in the mix.
Yeah, for sure. We're gonna see some interesting changes going into that. But that's a great segue into my little rant for this. I know I like to have one each pod.
You just like the sound of your own voice.
Yes. Why are you so grumpy?
I like the sound of his voice too. So
Yeah. So do our viewers.
Whose team are you
Silky
on?
smooth.
Mine. Always.
You got
Everyone's
rid of
on
the
my
Laz
team.
review next year? It's just
Oh.
that's not true.
Oh.
I didn't see it on applications.
Oh.
It's because next year the last review we have big things for it.
Yes.
Right.
All right.
It's
Right.
gonna be
Is this podcast talk?
Yes.
Can we get
Hayden's
into
a guest. We're
can we get
talking
into
about
a little Laz debate here? A little new segment.
You see, we even have we're launching.
the last review is still gonna be alive next
See,
year.
we're
It's gonna be
launching-
alive and well.
We're launching number 3.
You have that on record.
Yeah.
There you
I have
go.
it.
It's on record that
Now the only trouble is going to be finding someone to take it over as good as.
as qualified.
Yeah,
as
no.
really. That is an issue.
Wow. Thanks, guys.
Yes.
You know how to make me feel
Now
better.
jumping back into sports here,
Sports.
because that is what we do and who we are. Holy fuck, do I hate the playoff format? Like
The wild card.
Like,
Oh yeah.
it is not good. So we're gonna just throw out some numbers here. The Toronto Maple Leafs are 41-21-4. They have 86 points on the season.
Not bad.
They are on pace for 106 points,
Slightly
which
better than
would
the Sens.
which would be their best season in
Ever.
history.
Yes.
Last year they beat their record with 105. This year they're on pace for 106. And they're going to go up against the Boston Bruins if the playoffs start today.
And lose probably.
And probably lose because the last two series against the Bruins we have lost in 7. 2012-13 we're not going to talk about how we lost in 7, but last year was a heartbreaking loss in 7.
Jake Gardner though.
Yes.
That's Frederick Anderson. Come on, gotta put
That was
game
everyone.
on
That was
Anderson.
fucking dog
That was a
shit.
bad game.
But
defensively.
but yeah, why? That's my only question, Bettman. And the general manager meetings were this weekend, and it wasn't even a topic of conversation.
Yeah, it's
They just accepted it.
no, it's so stupid. I think because the teams that stand the most to like gain from that are like the teams that like they want that sort of wild card where like if you're bad but you're in the Atlantic and you're good enough to sneak into the playoffs, you'd rather have you take that wild card spot or whatever. Or even the third, like I remember a few years ago, it was like the third seed in the Atlantic or something was like literally barely 500. And they just made the playoffs compared to like the Metro who had like six teams.
Atlantic was so bad.
The Atlantic was terrible.
Now
until,
they're
this year.
arguably the best.
Yeah, until this year. Well, I'd say probably.
Well, they got three of the
top
five
five teams
teams?
in the league are
Yeah.
in the Atlantic. So like, but I mean, until like this year, like the Atlantic was like a joke for like and known for letting like bad teams into the playoffs. Like the Red Wings in like a few years ago. Like, are you kidding me? And they got destroyed by Boston.
Jesus Christ, Detroit's bad.
Yeah, they're bad, even worse now. But they were bad even a few years ago.
But yeah, no. Gary Bettman, if you're listening to this, which you're not, no one is.
At Gary Bettman.
Fuck you. Change it, because this is awful. Like, as a Leafs fan, why are we going up against? Here, I'm gonna pull up the league standings here. We are in 4th place in the league. Why are we going up against the 3rd place in the league in the first round? How does that make sense? Because even if we beat them, even if we beat Boston, we go up against Tampa.
We play Tampa, and is that how that works? We play Tampa in the second?
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure.
Oh my God,
Let me
that's
double
so
check,
stupid.
but like I'm pretty sure we would face Tampa.
Yeah, that's right.
'Cause, yeah,
it's
it's
the winner
division.
of the Atlantic versus the winner of the
And then
Metro.
the conference is division versus
So
division.
stupid.
So like likely we would then go up against Washington.
Yeah.
So we would go Boston, Tampa, Washington, and then one of Nashville and Winnipeg.
Yeah,
Right?
so
Or Calgary. Like I don't know. Like obviously I can't
the
assume.
West
who's
is
gonna
like
win. The West is a bit
very
of a
like
clusterfuck.
close, and it's very top heavy.
But this just makes no sense to me. Because like the NBA has it perfectly.
yeah,
1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5. Like, what's wrong with that?
I mean, arguably the NBA could stand to do the 1-16, considering how many joke teams get in on the East. I get why they do it, just for viewership's sake. But yeah, no, like 1-8 makes it way more, and it's what the NHL used to do. That year where
What year did they change it? They changed it in
the year
2011,
where
right?
they
After the lockout.
the year where the Leafs choked in Game 7. That was the last year of the
That was
1-8.
2012-13.
2012-2013. The year after that was the first year of wild cards.
Yeah, because that was the shortened season.
The shortened season,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it was Boston was the 4 seed versus the Leafs who were the 5 seed.
Yeah.
Or it was the 3 and 6. It was one of those two.
Yeah, see, like that makes no sense to me. That's my rant for the day. But yeah, fuck you, Bettman. Change it. So Haley has some soccer to talk about.
Yeah, I do. All
On that
right.
note, I'm gonna leave.
Yeah,
I hate it.
Thanks, Hayden.
we usually
Nobody cares about soccer but
no
me. I
one
get
cares
it.
about soccer. See you, buddy.
See you guys.
So, I don't know if anyone else knows about the year that Manchester United's had.
Yay, Manchester.
I don't.
So, Manchester United's year, they had Jose Mourinho as their head coach. And he got sacked because they were just absolute dog shit. Just terrible. They're currently 4th in the Premier League, so they've made their way back. They're ahead of my team, Arsenal, which I'm not a fan of, but okay.
My
Whatever.
team's Man U.
Arsenal is in 5th, which
My
is
team is
typical.
Toronto FC.
Yeah, they play in the Premier League. Really good. Really good. Jazzy. But Manchester United knocked off Paris Saint-Germain today in Champions League, which is huge because PSG is easily the best team in the French league. They paid a 10 million euro transfer fee for Neymar, which was the biggest transfer fee in history. They have I can never say his name right. Mbappe.
Gabriel Mbappe.
They have Mbappe on their team. Like, they have so many good players, and Manchester United beat them 3-1. Marcus Rashford, who is a ripe 21 years of age, scored twice. I just think that's huge because obviously Champions League is the biggest, like,
Arguably sporting event worldwide, aside from FIFA.
Because the thing is, think of it. If you had all of the best players from every league and you win your league, and then you have to play the best from another league, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like if say there was another NFL and you win the NFL, that's great, but now you got to play the best of
The AAF.
The AAF. Like,
Oh, no.
The XFL.
Jeez.
But you know what I'm saying?
Johnny Manziel's coming for you.
He doesn't play anywhere.
Oh, yeah. Rip Johnny.
He'll be in the XFL.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not enough to win your league. Like, you in the Premier League, that's great. Nobody cares. Like, you have to go on to Champions League and do that. So...
Does the CONCACAF go into Premier?
CONCACAF eventually goes into Champions if you win. Which TFC was so close to getting into the Champions. How big would that have been?
That would have been huge. But yeah, so Manchester, they're not even top of their group because they're in the same group as Juventus. Yeah. So Juventus is... Although I think Juventus lost their last game. Because they won. They won against Napoli. They were down by 2 with like 15 minutes left in regulation, but they must have pulled it out. But like you look at the top of each like pool, it's like Juventus is the top of their pool, Real Madrid's the top of their pool, Man City's the top of their pool, they're top of the Premier League. Bayern Munich's the top of their pool, they win their league every single year.
Yeah.
Although Borussia Dortmund is doing well this year. They're the top of their league and they play in the same league as Bayern Munich. But PSG's the top of their pool and they're in a pool with Liverpool, which I'd say is like pretty hard, but you could say the same thing about Juventus, Man U. This Group D, you've literally never heard of any of these teams. FC Porto, FC Schalke, Galatasaray, and Lokomotiv Moscow. So some people definitely get screwed over more than others when it comes to Premier League. But yeah, big news that Manchester United knocked off Paris Saint-Germain 3-1.
Good stuff.
Yeah, that's huge.
That is huge.
Sorry, we'll go on to a different sport besides basketball, but I just remembered something that's huge. LeBron's only 13 points away from passing MJ. I just wanted to throw that out there. So he's probably going to pass him tonight.
I did see that. And Dwayne Wade,
he's first in blocks by a guard of all time. So congrats to D Wade, and congrats will soon be in order for LeBron.
Oh, we did talk about Dwayne Wade's friggin' 3-point.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, I wasn't paying attention.
Well, we
briefly mentioned it as a bad Warriors loss because the fact that they let the Heat literally be that close. Like, I get like the prayer at the buzzer, like what are you gonna do? But the fact that you're first in the West, and the Heat aren't even in the playoffs in the East right now.
And
in the East, they're not in the playoffs.
The thing is, the buzzer beaters, whatever. Even if you beat them by 2 points, you only beat the Heat. By 2 points.
And it's not even like that you beat them by 2 points. You let the Heat drop 123 points on you.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to be the defending champion. That doesn't exactly inspire confidence in your
You're a defending
fans.
champion who added Boogie Cousins.
Exactly. Well, I mean, they didn't add him for his defensive skill, clearly.
No. But moving on, we'll move on to baseball.
Yeah, big rumors.
So Bryce Harper finally found a new home. He is moving to Philly. And
I gotta pee.
okay, gross.
And I know nothing about baseball.
He's moving to Philly.
Except
and
he's fucking poaching Le'Veon Bell.
Poaching? He doesn't want to play for the Steelers. Nobody wants to play for the Steelers, the Jazzy.
Baseball time.
So I found out today that he wants to wear number 3 because he thinks Roy Halladay should be the last Philly to wear 34.
Very respectful.
That is very respectful.
Ex-Blue Jay as well, a Cy Young winning pitcher.
Good guy, Bryce Harper. I love Bryce Harper. He's an Ohio State fan, so he has my heart.
He seems like a pretty good dude.
He is a good dude, and they said that they chose Philadelphia because he has a wife, and is she pregnant?
I have no idea.
Or I'm sure they want kids. Yeah. They said Philadelphia is like a good place to, build a family.
Good for him,
So that's that.
Washington sucks. Who would want to play for any?
Honestly, Washington.
Wizards suck. I like Ovi, so I won't hate on the Capitals.
And they just won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah,
so
but the Wizards are a bunch of jokes. Nationals couldn't win with the best pitcher in the game. That's pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, but that's pretty much all baseball news,
Oh,
really.
maybe rumors of the start of baseball super teams. Bryce Harper is talking about recruiting Mike Trout.
I did see that. Can
you imagine Mike Trout? There's literally like literal stats to back it up that Mike Trout is like the best baseball player of all time.
Oh
like,
yeah, Mike Trout's incredible. That's
there
why
are
he's
stats that like say he's better than Babe Ruth.
like how many MVPs does Mike Trout have? And like the thing is, like I said,
3 MVPs.
Like I said last pod, baseball's really a sport where you cannot be a one-man show.
No.
Like basketball, you can kind of get away with it. Like hockey, not really.
No,
but
not at all in hockey.
But like baseball for sure, you literally cannot. You could be the best player in baseball. Mike Trout is. But you play on the Angels, like
great city to play in. Bad team.
Like even they have Ohtani and like.
Yeah, yikes.
Yeah, baseball is really one of those sports where, like, if you're surrounded by terrible players, you're not going to do well. And that's the thing. That's why the Dodgers should have a World Series because they have so many all-stars on their team. It's like, how did you lose the World Series in back-to-back years? Riddle me that one.
It's a great question.
I mean, like, I was happy for the Astros when they won because they hadn't won in what? Had they won ever?
I don't even know. I don't follow baseball closely enough to like know that kind of stuff.
They hadn't won either in a really long time or ever. And then there was that whole thing about what's his name? Jose?
Scumbag from the Blue Jays.
No. What's his name? I can't remember. The guy who basically got cut from the Astros when he was like 16, and then he like found his way back to baseball, and then he won a World Series with them.
I have no idea.
Jose Altuve.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I knew his name was Jose. But yeah, that's about it. I mean, like, it's only spring training. My Bay, Aaron Judge, hit a huge homer against... who did they play? Yeah, but it was just, like, you know the sound that, like, a baseball bat makes when it hits a ball perfectly?
Yes.
It made that sound.
That's, like, Aaron Judge, like, all the time.
Yeah, Aaron Judge is just, like, incredible.
He is an absolute unit.
They need to be better. That's a team who needs to be better this year. For the amount of stars they have on their team, they need to be better.
Like, I mean, like, that's...
Derek Jeter literally just gave them Giancarlo and was like, have fun. Like...
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, you want to hear... Aaron Judge is, I think he's 6'7".
He's a big boy.
He is large. He's 6'7", and he weighs. Let's see what this is. I think he weighs 281 pounds.
But only like.
And he plays baseball.
But like only 5% of that is body fat.
No, he's so huge.
Like it's all muscle.
You know why this guy like absolutely just crushes the ball?
Yeah, because
this guy has
putting so much force behind it.
Yeah, no, it's insane. Aaron Judge is, as somebody who's not a huge fan of baseball, but I do appreciate the stars. Aaron Judge is one of them.
Yeah, I'm a big Judge fan because I'm a Yankees fan, obviously. But
yeah, of course.
But like I like Mike Trout and I like
Mike Trout. Yeah,
he's a good guy,
phenomenal player.
Yeah.
What do we got on deck still?
I'm trying to think. Like, there's nothing came out of the NFL recently.
No, NFL is pretty quiet.
It was a pretty quiet week in sports.
It was.
It was very like under
games were played, scores were had.
Yeah. I mean, if the Celtics had lost again, like that probably would have been a bigger talking point. But they managed to win, so it's not as funny to talk about them when they're winning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We talked about the Bucks, who are on their first 2-game slide of the season.
Yeah, that's insane. Like they've literally the first time they've lost back-to-back games this season. How crazy is that?
But honestly, I think we're coming up relatively close to time.
Did you guys mention Trae Young, or did I miss that?
We did not.
Oh yeah.
That was stupid.
Okay, Trae Young. I have a heavy opinion on this.
Okay.
Heavy opinion on it.
The ejection.
For literally staring at the guy.
Oh no, I'm talking about.
You're talking about
I'm talking about the quad OT game.
Oh.
When he
Let's
dropped.
talk about both. You get that, and then you get the other one.
Okay.
Well, I think I'll be quicker, so I'll just.
Yeah,
I
you
just
go
thought it was
first.
stupid that, like, you know how heated these guys get in games.
Yeah.
Like, punches are thrown half the time. Like, you know, you get like that in sports. So, like, I just don't understand where the technical came from.
It's the taunting rule in basketball is one of the dumbest and stupidest applied rules. Like, I get if you're being like an actual like dick and being like super like egregious with your taunting, like sure, get out of here. But like the whole reason the taunting rule was started was like Dikembe Mutombo's finger wag. Like like really like if he's that like he was a phenomenal, he was the best, one of the best shot blockers of all time. He should be able to let everyone know like you're not scoring on me, right?
Yeah.
Like players who go off, they should be allowed to celebrate. They should be allowed to say show that competitive side. Like obviously there's a point where it's excessive, but Trae Young's staring him down. Like really, come on. Like
also, I feel like that's a really like inconsistently enforced rule.
It's so inconsistently enforced. It's like sometimes guys will like step over a player, which is like way more disrespectful if you ask me than just staring at them. Like
yeah, it's the same way they do it in like football too, like excessive celebration. Like
dumbest rule.
Like sometimes like guys are literally like throwing each other in the air and it's fine, and then other guys like literally high five and they're like I remember one year. I always bring it back to Ohio State football, I know, but Hajazi always brings it back to the Steelers, so it's fine. One year, Ohio State had these gloves, and when you went like this, they like kind of made an O shape.
Yeah.
Like whatever they had, like they were Nike gloves, and they had like lines here that like made an O.
Yeah, they're
and the Michigan
like all football gloves. How they make the
but they weren't like this; they were like this.
Oh.
So they had these gloves, and it was the game against Michigan. Now remember,
The viewers are gonna love that. It's not like this. It's like this.
yeah, they're not going to know what I'm talking about.
That's why we need a camera.
We've tried that. Anyways, my point. It was a game against Michigan, and Ohio State has beat Michigan the last 7 in a row. You're disgusting. And for reference, Hajazi has, what even is that? Noodles falling out of his mouth. He always brings food to the podcast, and it makes me so angry.
We record at dinner time, so I bring dinner.
And he chews with his mouth open, and he talks with his mouth full.
I don't do that.
The worst table etiquette I've ever seen. But anyways.
This guy's a mouth breather.
They got like every touchdown, and like they have had some close games against Michigan, but this was like a blowout, so they were just scoring and scoring and scoring. But like every single touchdown, they have these gloves that Nike paid for, and Nike was outfitting Michigan at the time. They still do, but they're Jordan uniforms, which I also hot take. I think Jordan uniforms in football are the stupidest thing in the entire world.
I think they're disgusting.
They're
like,
ugly.
Good.
No, they're
awesome.
ugly. Michael Jordan played basketball. Even it would make sense in baseball because he played baseball. Like
not well.
I'm sure Michael Jordan has played football at some point in his life.
Did he play it well? He didn't play baseball well.
But like, anyways, they had these gloves, and like every single time they just they got flagged for excessive celebration. It was so stupid.
Wally, I have the key that he needs. Yeah.
But yeah, I think celebration and like taunting penalties are stupid. Celebration should be allowed if you just scored.
Be as excessive as you want. Like I'm a big fan of like NHL like celebrating like when Austin Matthews goal celebrations are hilarious. Like I want more of that in other sports. Like that's
I want
one
more
of
of the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah, that's one of the weird things that NHL has somehow gone right. Like the NHL is notorious for getting a ton of things wrong, and like them allowing like
the
these
playoff format.
Yeah, but like the NHL is like for some reason doubling down on like, hey, celebrations are fun. The fans like it, and I'm like, great. Why doesn't the other league do it?
Especially because when you're at the end zone, like your fans are probably sitting at that end zone, so like they want to celebrate with you.
I don't know.
And like you literally like.
The other thing is, Trae Young's.
What did we say about cutting each other off? And I was speaking, and here we are.
Continue.
No, I'm done now.
Okay, Trae Young's wasn't a celebration though; it was a taunt. I don't think it deserved a technical, but it wasn't a celebration.
Saying. The point, I know it wasn't a celebration. You missed the point because you weren't listening because you were eating. We were saying how they're inconsistently enforced rules.
Yeah, taunts and celebrations.
Yeah.
They don't treat them all the same. Like it's like some guys will get the short end of the stick.
I was saying some guys literally throw their teammates in the air and it's fine, and then some guys literally high five their teammate for a celebration and they get an excessive celebration penalty. We're saying the same with taunting. Spencer was saying guys step over other players and like stare down at them and it's fine. And Trae Young looks at the bench and looks at the guy and literally gets technical. And it was a technical of the game, so he got ejected. Like we're just talking about the inconsistencies, but you don't listen when I speak.
I agree. Relax. Okay, my hot take on Trae Young is I think Trae Young is very. This is going back to the game versus the Bulls. Went to quadruple overtime. Final was 168-161 for the Bulls against the Hawks. Trae Young dropped 49 points, 8 rebounds, 16 assists. Pretty good game.
Phenomenal stat line.
But my hot take is that people, for lack of a better term, started praising Trae Young after this game. Talking about how he should be ROI. He beats Doncic easily now. Just talking about how he's the best rookie to come out. Like, just going off about him. And I, for one, love Trae Young. I think he's amazing. I think he's going to be the guy in Atlanta for a while and kick ass there. But the guy played 2 basketball games. He played 2 basketball games. Okay? And I understand overtimes you don't get as many points. You get tired, blah, 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 blah. But he got 49 points in 8 quarters of basketball. So let's just relax a little bit. He's amazing. He's a great basketball player. But Doncic is still, like, miles ahead of him for ROI. And that's my quick take, because apparently yours was going to be much quicker than mine, Haley. Shall we do stars?
Sure, I don't even know who I'm going to... Honestly, mine is Kyrie, my boy.
Why?
Because he had 19 points, a few rebounds, a few assists. I don't know the other 2 stats.
This was a mess of a podcast.
It honestly was. I'm honestly not... I was, like, debating, like, calling in sick. It's just, like, not my day today.
That's okay. Everyone has those. Spencer Malone?
Did you guys not say your stars yet?
I just said it was Kyrie.
Yeah.
Oh, so can you? I need a second thing. Can you do it
Jesus
first?
Christ, you have to have this prepared when you come in, man. My star of the week is none other than Tyler Ennis. Tyler Ennis was a healthy scratch, and then was put back in, and got a hat trick against the Flames. So, yeah, he kind of kicked ass and is carrying that 4th line for the Maple Leafs right now. So he's my star of the week. Hopefully he carries that through tonight against the Canucks.
Yeah, they're playing Canucks tonight. Nice. My star of the week, that is gonna have to go to. I'm gonna go give it to Serge Ibaka. He came off the bench against Detroit and he kind of struggled a bit, but he had a huge bounce back game against the Rockets, even though it did not end in the ideal outcome for the good guys. He had a throwback performance where he had 5 blocks. And he was part of the reason why the Raptors went on a 25-4 run to start the second half. So Serge Ibaka, you're my star of the week.
All right. Well, this was fun.
Yeah, I agree.
If you made it this far, congratulations, because this was a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
But thank you for tuning in.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next week. Cheers.